All right, guys, welcome back. IEM Katowice about to get underway. Our first match, NaVi Tempo Storm. We got YNK Moses and Lauren once again, guys. This is a big one, and Tempo Storm, their first time on the big stage. I think that's absolutely going to be the underwhelming factor. Nerves are definitely part of this game.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I think that in their position and as a player, when you get into that booth, when you get in game, once the knife round starts, you don't, you're only focused on the game. The crowd is somewhere out there, you hear roars and so on, but you are only focused on the game, and they should try to do that if possible, right? Just try to play their own game. They're the underdogs in this matchup in every way, and they have nothing to lose, so just do your thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, that once you actually get down, like you might be nervous for a round or something, and then it kind of leaves you, kind of slip into what you're comfortable with, what you've known and what you've practiced. And that's actually, that might be the saving grace for Tempo Storm to have a good match, is this is a team that, this Brazilian culture of Counter-Strike that we're seeing between them and Luminosity is highly prepared, highly practiced, and when you get into these nerve-wracking situations, you have that practice to fall back on. That's when you see like teams who come into an event that aren't as prepared, when they get into those nervous situations, that's when you start seeing so many individual plays come out. But these guys have shown themselves to be very disciplined, very prepared, and they can just fall back on what they know.
I still think this is going to play a massive factor. If they were nervous and looked a little shaky going to the major qualifier,
yeah,
you put them on that stage, that crowd, I think it's very map dependent between these two, which we'll probably get to, but I think the atmosphere will work for NaVi here, and it may, if anything, hinder Tempo Storm at this point now.
And keep in mind, this is just the vocal warm-up for the crowd before the Virtus Pro game, so we know they can get loud. For the second matchup, without further ado, we will get into the semantics, get into the actual nitty-gritty of the game, but we'll first have to introduce the teams, and to do that, there's no one more splendid in the business to do so than Chobra.
Counter-Strike Global Offensive has been here in Katowice, but this time, we're here to crown a new IEM champion. We've had 2 days of nail-biting battles as fans around the world waited to find out who's gonna make it through. Will we have the tiebreakers? But now we have the brackets set, and we're here for the quarterfinals. As I introduce the first team for all of you in this quarterfinal, you might have noticed the Brazilian CSGO community has been hungry to be in the spotlight, and recently that path has opened up. But still, this next team's performance during the group stages was unexpected. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you the team that shocked the world, Tempo Storm! And their opponents, their third year in a row coming to Katowice, the first time stopped in the group stages. Last year, knocked out in the quarterfinals. And they're veterans. They're coming because they want to take over that peak in CSGO. They want to rise to the very top. CSGO fans, please give it up for NaVi! Will this be NaVi's start as they climb towards the very top? Or is Tempo Storm going to mark yet another upset this weekend? This is the quarterfinals in Katowice.
All right, quarterfinals indeed, Chobra. And as mentioned, this is the farthest NaVi has made it in the past. The difference is right now, I have NaVi, in my opinion, I think you guys have to agree, as the #2 team in the world. They've got a massive chance of going forward here. This is a huge underdog that they're playing against. And we saw how happy Tempo Storm was just to win games yesterday. We saw how Lucas jumps off the chair and gets caught, I'm gonna be poetic here, by his twin brother, Henny. It was romantic, wasn't it, guys?
It's an interesting storyline right there. I think the only other brother pair we've had in CS is Lurpis and Nasu, and that was, way back in
Oh, there's been plenty of brothers.
We had Hair and then the bald guy, Moses.
I had Hair back then, actually, ironically.
Yeah, there you go.
But, yeah, there's been plenty of brothers.
And now you're in Gryffindor, so.
Just waiting to bring that out. That was the best opportunity you could find.
The Gryffindor tie,
You used it way too early. Now it's gone.
All right, don't worry. I'll give you 10 points later if you get your prediction right. But carry on. I mean, this is a big story for Tempo Storm, and again, the emotions coming into it. Henny has much better on land, I have to say, so far this weekend.
Has been playing much better this week than he did last week at the major qualifiers, right? And in my opinion, that was one of the main reasons why they underperformed as a team as well. He's also the in-game leader of the team, as far as I know, and also the player who's been playing extremely well. Ironically, his twin brother Lucas has also had amazing rounds throughout this tournament. And I don't want to say that they're going to beat NaVi, but they definitely can get something rolling if they get off to a good start.
Mm-hmm. And again, going up against NaVi, this is a big task. But is Henny capable of going against the #1 op in the world, Guardian?
It's the question, isn't it? Like you think, oh, but they did well against Envy, right? But then it was like, but Kenny was not Kenny in that game
well,
at
Happy
all,
also
right?
took the op.
Exactly. Yeah. Happy just went, nah, I'm all right. I'll pick up. Sorry, Kenny, get out the way. But no, sure. Henny has been playing fantastically. You add in the stage, you add in everything. This is a very pressure moment. You add in Guardian, like the guy, the stable guy as well. I don't think he's had a slump in a long time on this AWP. He's been consistently delivering, and it's always a matter of who else from NaVi finds their form. Is it going to be Flamey on a certain map? Will it be Edward finding it? There's someone there who can step up with him. So a tough matchup now for Henny to actually keep that confidence and still perform to the same degree.
Go ahead.
Also, it's important this match is particularly important for NaVi to see which NaVi shows up, right? I feel even if it's still just the Guardian show and the other players are playing up to their standard level, right? They still have enough to beat Tempo Storm.
Definitely.
But if it comes to the next, to the semifinals against Luminosity, then they're going to hit a brick wall. So it's time for them. It's time to see if Flame is going to step up or Edward or Seized.
I mean, that's the big thing. I think we're talking a lot about Tempo Storm, and I think this is just, I don't think we're really impressing how much of an underdog they are. Like NaVi, still Tempo Storm getting through here, this is awesome, but none of those wins earlier impressed you to the level, or impressed me to the level to where I can confidently say they're going to be able to take out NaVi. I don't even think they're going to get a map. I think that, NaVi just at this level, like you mentioned, even if NaVi's not playing to the top of their game, I still think they're just going to be able to kind of cruise through this one. Obviously not looking past it. Starix, we talk about him as one of the most effective and best coaches in the scene right now. He's a guy who's going to have looked into Tempo Storm, and I just think NaVi's going to crush it.
Just quickly, before we jump away from Tempo Storm, we have to highlight Bolts as well. This is the guy that left Luminosity in a bit of a surprise. I think everyone was looking for Steel to be the guy to get the exit, get the boot, and all of a sudden Bolts was down and out as well, and he found himself on Gamers Academy. Now he's on this stage once more. He's been playing way better than he ever has, in my opinion.
Yeah, he really has. He's been very, very impressive. Like this switch where he gets given more responsibility in terms of just like raw output, his fragging power. It's really shining through here, and he's been a huge player for them.
And especially on couple. He was the guy playing into drop, excuse me, almost all the time, and he was successful almost all the time. He was absolutely outstanding on that. So if maybe Cobble comes up here, I think they could slither in a bit of a victory there, possibly. But we're going to have to wait and see if that even comes through on this.
And we'll talk about the maps. The veto has been done. I know them. You guys don't. I want to see what your opinions are. I've specifically limited you guys. I had to censor you from the internet, specifically you, Yanko. No cheating today. But before we do get to that, we have to hear from the team themselves, Tempo Storm, on their thoughts in this tournament.
Following in the footsteps of their Brazilian brothers Luminosity, Tempo Storm, who were previously known as Games Academy, have started to rise in the American scene. With the help of their countrymen, they've been able to relocate to North America and take on some of NA's best. Their first success came through the qualifiers to get to the Intel Extreme Masters World Championships here in Katowice.
Dolts with his huge performance in Tempo Storm, 2 maps in a row, an absolutely phenomenal comeback. They're going on to IEM Katowice.
They beat the top 2 teams from North America in the form of CLG and Cloud9 and proved that the Brazilian scene has more than just one team to look out for.
And what a storyline that is. The Brazilian underdog, the second team in Brazil, out-qualifies all of North America and make it here. And not only just make it here, they make it through the group. They now face against NaVi, who we have to switch our focus towards. We already mentioned Guardian, #1 op in the world, but they've got some other punches. Flamey has been much better as of late, I think.
Yeah, he's starting to find some consistency. Every now and then you'd see Flamey just kind of fire up, right? Hate to say the pun, but he did have these outstanding games, but now he's finding a little bit more consistency to his play. He becomes such a deadly force, and then couple that with the other players who are starting to wake up. I'm looking at Edward personally. This becomes a very dangerous lineup, but it's always what NaVi shows up.
Definitely, and also you mentioned briefly Taz from VP being the guy who, you know, is playing like I am not losing this game. Sometimes Zeus has the same approach, right? Sometimes he's just the driving force for his team. You know, in a Dust 2 game, I think they played against Fnatic. You know, they were down early again, but when they start winning rounds, it was actually Zeus getting a quad kill in the Tech-9 force buy, then you know another round with 2 entries on the 8 bomb site and so on. So he was the one pushing his team forward, which gave them a chance that game, which they ultimately lost, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, this just highlights the big issue that Tempo Storm goes against is we just went down the line with Navi's roster. We haven't even mentioned C's yet. Like another guy who can just step out at any point. We've gotten to Edward, we've gotten to Zeus, we've talked about Guardian, Flamey. Now you get to C's, who's also a very underrated player who at times can also take over these games. He can also be one to just crush his opponent and spur Navi forward to a win. I don't see that top to bottom on the Tempo Storm roster quite yet, and that's not a bad thing. I'm not trying to bash them. It's just the inexperience. It's the learning process that they have. This is going to be a big learning experience for them in front of the crowd on the stage. Also against a team like NaVi, I just see too much strength on this NaVi team.
There is a lot of strength on this NaVi team, and you already mentioned Starix as well as the coach.
Yeah.
We heard from Peacemaker quite a few times yesterday, the coach of Tempo Storm. It's becoming the trend. We've talked about that this weekend. Coaching is the norm, but Starix is the most experienced in that department throughout the entire business. We're going to take a look at their video. When we come back, we will discuss maps, but of course, we have to hear from them. Their third time in this tournament, they're second in the quarterfinals, and they are out for blood. They want this whole title. We're going to hear from them right now.
With 3rd to 8th place finishes at all the majors, including Cluj-Napoca, NaVi were unable to get that coveted 1st place major finish. However, the end of last year and the start of 2016 has been very kind to NaVi. With 1st place finishes at Intel Extreme Masters San Jose and at DreamHack Leipzig, NaVi have been on a steady but sure climb to the top of the CSGO scene.
Game. I was going to try and test your knowledge a little bit and see if you guys could guess the map, Vito. But this is it, and this is, in my opinion, very scary. Now, we know Tempo Storm is decent on these, but this is some of NaVi's playgrounds. Overpass, Cobblestone, Mirage if needed. How scary does that sound if you're Tempo Storm?
Sounds real scary, in my opinion. I was here saying that they never play Overpass, and now they decided to let it through against NaVi, who is one of the best teams on Overpass. Not really sure what's the reasoning behind that, but I see it right now as Overpass being an easy map in a sense for NaVi, and you know Tempo Storm is going to have to fight for their life on Cobblestone.
Yeah, and even if it gets to that 3rd map on Mirage, I mean, it is a strong map for Tempo Storm, but NaVi on it is just a really scary prospect. I mean, this is the thing. This is kind of how these favorited teams, the deep map pools, can just kind of abuse these newer teams, is, you know, you have to ban Train against NaVi, so now Overpass slips through.
For me, it's all about Cobble for Tempo Storm and a little bit of sight towards what NaVi have done. If they've maybe gone home and actually watched over a couple of games, instantly probably got a plan for this, so it'll be a very quick game. Considering NaVi's CT side has been a little bit rocky, I actually wouldn't think that to be a too bad opportunity for Tempo to do some damage, but outside of that, NaVi's got their hands basically all over this game.
I think Cobble has to be a win for Tempo to even put this into 3 games. I think Overpass is going to be tough. We don't have a whole lot of time. Again, we are getting close to game time. We've already touched on a few of the storylines, individual players, but let's just go right into it. Let's just get predictions. We'll start on the end with Hufflepuff. It's all you.
Wow, that's boring.
I mean, he's Griffin.
All right,
You can be Slytherin. You can be
Bravery,
Slytherin.
baby.
Fine, all
The
right.
long,
No,
sneaky hair.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. Slytherin it is.
2-1. I'm going to have hope, right? I'm going to say Cobble, Tempo have a chance. This is a place where dreams are made, but dreams don't always give you the victory. They might give them one map.
Hopes are such a fragile thing. I'm just going to go 2-0 for NaVi.
Being from NA, you know that very well.
Been shattered multiple times, but Guardian's going to get into like his great white shark mode where he just kind of searches out death across the map. That op is going to be tough to stop.
Yeah, I thought beforehand that Tempo Storm is maybe going to pick Inferno to throw NaVi off, because that's not a map they play that often. But now with this particular map pool, I'm going to have to go with NaVi 2-0.
Interesting. There we go. So some bold predictions. We'll come back between the maps to discuss all the action. But I made fun of Jason's attire today for being Gryffindor. If anyone's wondering why I'm 50 Shades of Grey, it's because I'm trying to still impress Henry G, who has apparently abandoned me and joined the machine. It's these two guys to bring you the first game.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is game time. The Spodek is packed, and I'm joined by Henry G. I am Alex Richardson, and good God, dude, how on earth are we here? It doesn't feel real.
It doesn't feel real.
It really doesn't.
How are you doing, my friend?
Well, a little bit of the kind of the game of nerves. I'm feeling it. I can feel just like this crowd all now staring upon us. They're going to be looking at that stage as well. It's so damn beautiful. If you haven't seen all the pictures, well, it's here. How you doing? Big arena, all packed out, and we've got some incredible CS to dive into. Those guys broke it down quite well, but I feel like while they're preparing themselves for the knife, Henry, I'd love to know your opening thoughts on this one. A lot of criticism towards the veto towards Tempo.
I was going to say, this is kind of nuts that Tempo Storm allowed Overpass in first. It's like Yanko said, it's not a map we normally see them play too often. Like looking back at the match history, it's like once or twice maybe the last 20 games we've actually seen them play it. We haven't seen them play this tournament, so I'm very interested to see how this one pans out for them. I'm pretty scared for them going forward in the best of three. I would have said they could have maybe nipped in Cobble here, but judging this as their first stage performance, the first time we've seen them kind of play in this sort of environment, I'm not so sure they can play to the same sort of level we saw against Envious and Mirage, for example.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't deny that NaVi are no stranger to a stage like this. Even more so as of late, they've been getting to those grand finals, getting to the semis. And Tempo, this is their first trip across to Europe. They've managed to get here, and now they've got to beat the big dogs.
It's a very romantic story, I'll give you that. But we have to remember, this is the group stage. It was best of ones, and 3 of those wins included EFrag as well. So they've taken down Envious. Amazing. That's a great achievement. But obviously, they lost to Astralis as well. It's great that they've got here, but this is where the heat really turns up right now. They need to step up in the best of 3 series, going up against an absolute titan here in the form of NaVi on one of their best maps as well, just to open things up. If there wasn't enough pressure already, you're going on Overpass.
And a team that is based so much about motivation and hype and bringing that kind of that Brazilian flair to the battleground. It's certainly going to be an interesting one to start things off. All eyes are on NaVi, expecting to see a solid performance, but what better way to start than with having that choice of side and just start with the knife round. They are going to start cutting away at each other, and the crowd is already excited. Tempo do have the choice of side as we prepare ourselves for game 1, map 1 of this best of 3. It is our first CS venture here in the Spodek.
Well,
Tempo, they're going to go for the CT side.
Yeah, that's normally the preferred side here. It's the most comfortable side, I'd say. But we'll see what Tempo Storm go with. I'll be interested to see whether they'll bring aggression into the CT pistol, whether they'll be taking the game to NaVi, or whether they're going to be a little bit rattled going into this one. Obviously, they would have been studying the demos all night. They're probably aware of what NaVi will be bringing to the table in some form. But obviously, this is the big stage now. You can't really rely too much on the demos. People are going to be chucking in like curveballs left, right, and center. So you need to be very careful there. But I'd like to see some aggression from them. I'd like to see them setting the tone for the game.
And let's not forget, you cast your mind back to Tempo before. They were really not afraid to bring that aggression to Virtus Pro beforehand, as well as others. And so we do prepare ourselves to jump straight on into the action. The pistol begins very shortly. And I mean, it is a beautiful tale for Tempo. Can it continue?
We will have a look at the buy coming in here for the CTs. But ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise here for the opening round of the first quarterfinal here. Tempo Storm versus NaVi. It's going to be Tempo Storm on the CT side. 3 sets of armor. Smoke grenade for showdown as well. And NaVi actually going with a similar buy as well. Sees just without singular smoke. So we'll see what kind of aggression comes in from the CTs. You can see 3 players actually making their way towards long. So this is actually a little bit unorthodox. Maybe they will be going for that aggressive stance.
I think this is exactly what you ordered, Henry. You wanted some aggression, and here it comes as we begin with a little bit of an audacious play from Tempo Storm, and Phelps beheads Guardian to start it all off. The first frag of the quarterfinals has been exchanged. It's certainly not going to be the last. The flash does get used quite well. NaVi full blind. They're going hunting, and they are actually going to be able to catch another one and two. Flamey and sees the charming in with frags left and right. Flamey takes a double. Tempo down to their knees with just two.
It's an absolute brawl there towards long. The gloves are off in the first round. It was Tempo Storm to open up the frags, but it's NaVi that capitalized in the end. Just Bolts and Showdown now holding that A bomb site. You can see NaVi just got so much time to play with here. They can begin the mind games and start. Tempo Storm, are they going to start questioning themselves? You can see they have got Bolts towards being his. Showtime does take down Edward, bringing them back slightly into this situation, but still a man down. The only good news for them here, Flamey sees very low HP.
That's true. Some of the work has been done for them. But you can see that it does look like NaVi are kind of leaning more towards that B side, especially after Showtime showed face towards bank. Meaning Zeus is kind of just hoping and praying for some extra aggression from the Brazilians. But really, a 2 versus 4, this is a round that NaVi cannot afford to lose. And there's going to be that smoke invested. Bolts is actually going to consider going aggressive. He wants information, and it is a battle of information. 30 seconds left, Henry.
Well, they're going to be committing to the A bomb side as well. You can see Showtime is trying to scout for information here, but they're going to be finding that first player, but it's Flamey that takes him down and brings it into the 3-on-1. Just Bolts in the bank area now. Everything to play for, and he's going to be finding aggression as well in the form of Zeus here. He's going to be going all in as well. He's actually by himself, isolated. Zeus needs to be careful here, but he does capitalize. Takes down Bolts. It is NaVi that takes the pistol round here in the opening round.
And now NaVi, this is where you hold on. You don't let Tempo do anything cheeky. And we are going to be seeing then a little bit of an interesting pickup for Tempo as they begin this one. And the chants do begin as well. It looks like the crowd has chosen their favorite.
This is it. You can see a force spike coming in here from Tempo Storm. It's Lucas that hasn't invested in anything. And we'll see how this one goes down, because we've got Henny and Phelps onto the scouts. And NaVi coming in with 1 SMG in the form of Edward. He's got the UMP and then 4 rifles as well. They've only got 1 smoke grenade to play for, so they're going straight for the kills here, just going for long-range headshots and seeing what they can do, but they need to be very careful facing certain areas. 1 scout towards long, and there's going to be the other one actually towards B, I think, as well. So you can see NaVi just setting up for this very default, passive approach so far, just kind of feeding out the map. Zeus just feeding out Connector as well, seeing if there's any aggression from the CTs, but they're quite far back. They're not going to be showing their hand just yet.
Yeah, a stark contrast to that pistol round where they did invest so many players towards that long area. Now it lies quiet. Lucas is actually probably going to be the first contact for Tempo Storm. You can see he's just going to be holding that angle, and NaVi are about to try and flush him out in toilets, pun intended. There it goes. Locus takes down Edward, and that's going to be a weapon. It is the UMP, and that scouting SMG does not do too much.
That's very sloppy from NaVi. Where's the refrag in this situation? It's so dangerous losing that first man. Flamey is here to rectify the situation. He takes down Lucas, but there is a problem. Phelps with that scout is looking for him as well. He has been tagged down to 22 points of health, but that's going to be it. Flamey does manage to drop him, and they get the man advantage back in their favor, and it continues as well. Zeus opening up the B bomb side. Showtime drops, and now Bolts and Henny are remaining.
Yeah, they did invest these 2 scouts. We saw Phelps struggle with his, but now look at Bolts. Mr. 570 picked up some crazy plays with it beforehand, but not going to happen this time. Henny catches the shoulder of Zeus, and they've done a whole lot of damage. Let's not forget just how much. Oh, another tag coming in. Seized is now very low. There's 2 shots from the scout, and he could end the round.
This could be it. He hasn't got a kit, but that's done a lot of damage here to the NaVi players. They're going to be playing a lot more passively now, just getting the Molotov and the bomb. And that's going to buy them some time. Don't need to face until that extinguishes itself, but here we go then. Henny should be dropped here. It's a pretty much impossible situation, but they managed to take down 3 guns, and it was Edward that opened things up. Like I said, an interesting decision to face that bathroom area by yourself. He's like, you've got 2 angles to look at. You've got no one to refrag with you. He gets dropped, and that made things uncomfortable for NaVi, but ultimately win the round, and Tempo Storm now going to be on a full save here.
Yeah, so it was a UMP, an AK, and a Galil snatched out of the hands of NaVi, as they are going to be picking up those SMGs to try and mow down those very unarmored Brazilians. This is going to be just a P250 for Lucas. Where on earth do they take this one?
Well, normally you kind of try and stack B, try and have that surprise jump on the players here, but you can see NaVi preparing themselves as a close-range combat. Mac 10s and a UMP. There is a boost from Tempo Storm towards short as well, but once again, just filling out the map. They've actually committed towards the long side of the map as well. Obviously, with the 2 AKs they've got, want to keep things nice and long range. Don't want to get any more uncomfortable situations. So far, so good. But you can see Tempo Storm setting up just outside the bathroom area here, seeing if they can catch someone out.
Yeah, actually, we saw a little bit of kind of wind beneath their wings, and Lucas has just taken Flamey down. In Tempo, making an impact. It doesn't matter what's in their hands, and Henny could actually take another one here. It's going to be the head of Edward. He's just made a huge mistake, and all of a sudden, Tempo, they have the numbers advantage. Zeus looking a little lost as well. Henny still breathing with just that USP.
And here comes a full rotation from B as well. This is going to be very interesting. Tempo Storm with the man advantage, and NaVi stuck between a rock and a hard place here. Guardian trying to do what he can towards spawn, but absolutely not not being able to find anything so far. Zeus does drop Henny, and that should be the round here as they do get the bomb planted as well. Guardian secure in the situation, and just 2 players remain now for Tempo Storm.
Yeah, NaVi seem to have just got their, I was about to say round in the bag, but there goes Bolts again, always picking up these surprising frags, and now just Phelps with 2 left, and Tempo, even against with nothing in their arsenal, they keep NaVi honest, and just 2 remain as they pick up that round.
Yeah, again, quite sloppy from NaVi, not checking some key areas here. Actually, need to warm up a little bit here. You need to be careful on these rounds. Those kind of mistakes can cost you games. But here we go then. This is where things get interesting. Henny, one of the standout players from yesterday, had a poor major qualifier back yesterday. He showed he can perform in these big events. He's going to be on the AWP, but the problem is, the analyst mentioned it as well, Guardian, the world's best AWPer. That's his enemy and his nemesis potentially going forward here in the first gun round.
Yeah, he's going aggressive. Just quite have a little bit of a stumble towards Party, and no celebrations just yet for Tempo. Looking for that first round, and he is going to have to be cautious of that playground area. NaVi have hit the brakes, though. Look at their positioning. It is just a question of kind of divide and conquer. A lot of investment from NaVi into just clearing out connector and gathering ground slowly.
Yeah, it's more of a default once again. We did see Henny go towards the top middle, trying to find that first frag, take the game towards NaVi, but didn't find anything just yet. It's NaVi, they're playing very passively, classic NaVi style, playing the round very slowly. It sometimes can be the thorn in their side. They can run out of time and time again, but you can see Showdown has been taken down to 35 HP here. And NaVi still with 5 smoke grenades as well. You'd assume some sort of execution here. Just try and slowly dissect the map, gain some map control, and then go into that execution. But it's Henny who wants to find that first pick, and he gets it as well, taking down Zeus to open things up here.
It doesn't matter how many flashes you throw, Henny will find you eventually, and he does. And now, looks like NaVi are about to pick up the pace. 45 seconds, and Phelps is going to be the first man on the scene. Slows things down. Nade's making it rather obvious, kind of selling the story, and who's going to be first to see? He's surely going to go down. No, heavily damage done by Phelps, though, and Guardian extends that. Tempo are starting to look a little weak at the knees because NaVi, they're turning up the heat, and 3 members now about to emerge from long, and it falls to Lucas to hold on. He needs to catch Edward here, and he's going to be perfectly caught by that flashbang back to a level playing field, but for how long? Flamey is not interested in this round, going the way of Tempo. Another for Flamey. 2 in this round, and now Bolts is all alone in bank. An all too familiar scenario for Bolts. He was here in the pistol, and now 1 versus 3, he's gone as well. Another 3 for Flamey and 4th for NaVi.
Very interesting decision there. Tempo Storm get that first pick. They take it down to a 5-on-4. Most teams then would go to some more passive mentality. You know you've got the advantage. Let them come to the bomb site, set up the crossfires, and establish your presence on the site. They went towards long. They went aggressive. Even after getting that first pick, they get 2 taken down, and that's the round over at that stage. NaVi almost gifted that opportunity to get back into the round, and you can see how it's affected the money going forward. Tempo Storm don't really have many opportunities here. They've got some flashbangs, upgraded pistols. It's not a force buy, but it's a disappointing way to kick things off in that gun run after getting the first pick. Henny had to work very hard for it. But we can see once again, it's actually a lot of presence towards middle and towards B as well, potentially going towards that boost towards short.
Well, we saw NaVi have to kind of tighten things up a little bit, and you can see Edward has learned from his mistakes. Not going to be walking in with that AK towards toilets again and again. That boost has come out. They're trying to catch someone in Zeus's position, but I don't think he's interested. Instead, just using that MAC-10 to scout around, clear those corners, and make the calls for his team.
Yeah, it's actually a 3-man boost you have to do towards B to actually get that rolling. It's very interesting. It's obviously high risk and can be very rewarding as well. But Zeus there coming close, maybe able to spot something here, but doesn't look like he'll be checking it just now. He will be taken down. He'll say that he drops off. It's not going to work out. The investment falls to pieces, and 3 players are fully committed to that area. We'll be getting back up here, and a second bite of the cherry perhaps.
Second time's the charm. Bolts gets it, no longer slipping off his teammate's head, and it's like the rest of NaVi just trying to piece together what did just happen. They've conceded that loss. It was just the MAC-10, that scout roll from Zeus working wonders, and now the process of elimination begins. The mollies are thrown out, as is the flash in response. That was the only utility they really had, and Henny's got 1 more to go as they try and delay NaVi further, but they do start to encroach on towards this B site. Flamey's going to be trying to break on in. Caesar's already done that, and there go the frags. That's going to be the end for Tempo, and that's going to be 5 for NaVi.
Indeed. So that boost does work out for them in the end. Obviously a little bit slippery at the top there sometimes, and it's going to be Henny remaining here. He has got 3 players to find, but Guardian will deal with him as well. Once again losing that first frag, but capitalizing once they make their way to the bomb site there. So 5-0 in favor of NaVi. We'll have another full buy coming in for Tempo Storm. Henny once again with the AWP. I'll be interested to see how he positions himself and where he works around the map. A lot of these top AWPers will be going from middle towards monster tunnel, towards long, and making things interesting, being unpredictable and trying to find that first frag.
Yeah, the main observation I've made so far about NaVi is, yes, you've picked up 5 rounds, but every single round, doesn't matter what Tempo have brought. Yeah. I mean, the most NaVi have got away with is 3 alive.
This is it.
And here we do go once again. We're going to be seeing Tempo Storm desperate to get themselves on the board. a team based primarily off of that motivation, off the strategic read. And at this point in time, the default from Navi's working, and that's a problem.
Well, they've got connector control once again. We have got Henny poised and ready in the bathrooms area. Has got backup as well from Phelps. But it's that slow-paced game coming in once again. Guardian is scouting towards any more boosts that'll be coming in. Rattles off a shot through the boards there and doesn't land any damage yet, but it's definitely a signal. And this is where Henny got his first pick last time. Can he do the same again? He does. This time it's Guardian. Can they actually convert this into a round victory this time?
Yeah, the last time that situation arose, there was a flash available for Guardian to enable him to go for that cross. And actually, Flamey's going to scoop up that AWP. Look at this angle from Henny. He is not phased. He knows they're present. He knows they're close, but continues to present aggression. Navi, though, considering something else away from Henny. Looks like that warning has been received, and now it falls to Showtime and Bolts as they ready themselves for the Navi assault. 40 seconds. Time has been a problem in the past for Navi, but they've got plenty if they do start this push soon.
This will be more of a B execute. They still have the smoke grenades and Molotovs as well, but you can see this setup towards Monster Tunnel where there's actually going to be two players, Tempo Storm, and they're actually going to face as well. It's Bolt that gets caught with his pants down now. Now Showtime has to step up massively here. He can't do it. Sees opens up the bomb site. Now the rotations will come in. Lucas, a massive player from yesterday, rotates quickly. Can he find the frag to secure this round for them?
Well, that's a start, but just the one, because Flamey's there and he's still sticking to that AWP, sticking to his guns, quite literally. They are low, though. Look at Navi's health. Not ideal, and Phelps is going to seize that, though. He's going to take down Zeus. It is just two. Can they get the retake? It falls to Henny. He's got an AWP. It's not ideal for a scenario like this, and they are going to just back away. He doesn't have a kit at this point in time. Fortunately, his teammate did.
Well, he has got two low HP players to find, but that AWP in his hand is not going to be the best weapon for the job on this full retake. Should be taken down here. Somehow still alive! But Henny does drop on the end. He takes Flamey and he comes down to seized with 14 HP. He finds 4 frags there, and once again, they find the first frag but unable to convert it. It's really interesting how they keep facing these really tight choke points in key situations. There's bad timing from Bolts there. Seized, finding 4 frags. We discussed the huge impact he can have in these big games, and he's delivering time and time again. 6-0 now in favor of Navi.
Yeah, and I mean, look at that contrast. Seized 11-1. Edward, 1 frag. Seized is definitely delivering in all fronts, as is Flamey. See that Navi at this point in time have got a good read on this one. We are going to be seeing Flamey pick up that P90, of course, throwing that AWP back to the hands of Guardian. Wow. And already Showtime's taken damage. That makes me nervous.
Well, look at the equipment we've got for Tempo Storm. It's a desperate buy here. Maximum loss bonus, just Famises and M4. Lack of utility and not a single kit as well. They need to be looking for that first pick once again if they're going to have any chance into this round. But Navi reading it once again. This very slow pace, waiting for the CTs to make the first mistake. And it's going to be Phelps quite aggressive towards middle, but we'll see what Zeus can do here towards the connector. He's going to find one player here, and it's going to be Phelps. And can he find him? Actually spots him as well, but look at this. All the CTs facing at the same time, but Zeus finds one, but it is dropped in the end. The man advantage, I was about to say, still in the favor of Navi, but finally Tempo Storm take it.
Yeah, the bomb loose towards Playground, and so Navi are going to have to use these 57 seconds remaining to not only pick up a couple of entries into the site. Oh no, Flamey was given ahead of Showtime, but hang on a second, Lucas took his time. Damage was done. This is the best scenario Tempo Storm could have made happen in this round, and now just Guardian and these do remain.
That was kind of interesting. Flamey, with him on his screen, I think that was a bit of a 4x3 blunder. He didn't quite spot the CD player towards short there and actually allowed him to live. That was an easy kill with the P90, but there it is.
Black bars, man. Black bars life.
That's the thing. Well then, 4-on-2, surely an opportunity here. Time ticking away, 25 seconds remain. Guardian, though, with the AWP, will be going towards Monster Tunnel, looking to open up this site. There is going to be Showtime behind those barrels, and this next kill means everything.
I was just, look at that clock. It just reads so good for Tempo Storm, but I'm not going to write them out. You never should. And here they go. Aggressive Guardian hits the shot he had to hit. Seized has done the same. Now it's 2v2. And another for Guardian. It is going to be a 1v1. He has to plant the bomb now. Bolts knows it. It's a 1 versus 1. Bolts, you've been so good in the past. You were a big reason they got to the quarters, and now he has to hit this shot. Guardian's missed 2. Bolts, this is unforgivable. You have to hit this shot. 30
He's done it.
He has done it. Not one bullet hit. And Bolts is going to save the round and bring number 1 home for the Brazilians.
What a tense situation that was. 4-on-2 comes down to the 1 versus 1. Bolts just with that Famas out of position as well. Guardian knew exactly where he was. Somehow comes out on top against Guardian, the world's best sniper. And you would have thought Guardian would be hitting that shot all day long. But somehow the Famas prevails and he gets to defuse as well. And Tempo Storm arrive on the scoreboard.
If you put Guardian into that 1v1, a player in upper, he knows where he is. The bomb is down. He's going to win that 90% of the time. Bolts finds that 10. He hits the necessary shot. Guardian doesn't. And there's There's #1 for Tempo. They need to follow that up, though. Otherwise, those FAMAS buys are going to continue.
Well, this is the thing. If they were to lose this round, it's the hard reset. They go in the next round of $1,400. This is another must-win round. The fact it came down to a one-on-one is still a nightmare situation. Decent nade there towards short. Does do quite a lot of damage to Flamey and C's, but you can see them focusing on the B-bomb side this time, trying to find any sort of aggression from the CTs. They're going to be rattling off shots there through the wall, but it's actually Henny once again takes down Flamey, and they have the 5-on-4 advantage in here in round number 8.
Such a must-win round for Tempo, and they do look very anxious. They haven't stopped moving. Look at those blue dots. They just keep on moving like ants, trying to manipulate their way through the Warren. That's Rabbits, Alex. 1:12, though, as they do prepare to basically receive NaVi. NaVi haven't actually gone too consistently towards this site, eventually ending up on B more often, but Tempo are ready.
Well, last time Tempo Storm had this man advantage, they kind of fluffed their lines a little bit, facing towards long, giving those kills away. This time they're actually making NaVi work a lot harder for them. This is the setup I want to see. As soon as you get the pick, fall back. You have that advantage working in your favor. Problem is now, though, utility is lacking for Tempo Storm, and that full execute was to come in, and NaVi with full smokes as well. It's be a very difficult prospect to hold them off. A lack of kits as well, and this is the execute coming in. Wall of smokes, bomb plant, and just pharmacists to defend as well. It's be a very tricky situation still, even though with an extra player.
Yeah, that extra player, but zero utility to defend them off. One flash for Bolt, and he's on the other side. Here they go, though. NaVi begin their assault, and Edwards already taken the head of Lucas clean off. This is the plant you were talking about, but they are still looking very cautious, checking their corners with the molly. Zeus is going to be the one getting those explosives down. The numbers just keep going from bad to worse for Tempo at this point in time. They have done damage, though, and Seized is going to meet the tail end of Henny with that orb. Now 3v3, and it's changing again. Bolt's just continuing to make things better, but the plan is for toilets, and that's where NaVi are going to be making their home.
Well, it's a decent plant as well. His next kill is going to be massive. It's actually Henny that gets it as well, and Tempo Storm capitalized. It looked bleak for a second, but Guardian misses some key shots there. 2 rounds in a row now. He's almost denied NaVi that victory, and Tempo Storm, I said, it was a massive round in terms of the economy. They managed to hold on, and that full execute, it looked like it was going well. Seized opening up the bomb site. The bomb gets planted for them as well, but like I said, Guardian, perfect position, just not nailing the shots right now.
Perhaps pressure may be mounting for them. NaVi need to get to that semi-final. They've been doing it more and more so recently in Tempo. Their first European event, their first showing, and already they're showing us so much to get excited about. A map, though, that NaVi are heavily favored within, and now Tempo are starting to forge something. 2 rounds in a row, finally getting off that mark.
Well, we'll see what kind of buy we have here for NaVi. It's actually 2 Galils. They've opted to try and get the smokes, and more importantly, Guardian still does have the AWP, so it has been pretty lackluster so far. So Henny's actually bested him in terms of round impact so far. He's finding those opening picks. He's giving Tempo Storm something to work with here, but once again, NaVi going to that more passive mentality. But we can see a long setup here from Tempo Storm. We have got Henny boosted up on the flower bed, and players surrounding him as well towards bathroom as well. So actually not going to be on the bomb side at all. It's actually more of a bathroom-based attempt. You can see NaVi now slowly but surely. It's Guardian making his way in. This next pick could be massive. He will be facing any second, but there's 2 players waiting for him, and it's actually the Desert Eagle that takes down Guardian. And once again, they go into the lead here. Just need to fall back to the bomb side. Looking like they want to commit a little bit more, but that smoke will buy them some time. Yeah,
the one disadvantage to that stacking long is that now if NaVi did forge an offensive straight onto the site, they're going to be very predictably positioned. And look at this, Zeus knows exactly that. And he's going to be the first to challenge out, and Henny brings him down to just 20. Using now AWP, Henny's nade finishes the job now. It is going to be 3v3 courtesy of C's consistently hitting these shots when others aren't. Henny continuing to be this defensive force. He's going to get a third here. Takes down Flamey. It could very well be 4. As Henny, we've been singing his praises the entire event. Could this really be 4? It will. Goodbye Seized, and hello third round for the Brazilians.
This guy's playing out of his mind now, pulling out all the stops for Tempo Storm and making sure he opens up the round and closes it as well, Alex. That's an amazing round for Tempo Storm to win. It breaks the economy of NaVi here. They're going to be down to a full eco, and there it is. They're starting to turn up the heat, Tempo Storm. After going 6-0 down, they're finally finding some footing here as well. So here we go. Henny still hungry like the wolf, keeping his aggression strong towards mid.
I mean, just the sheer fact that a $700 investment took down the AWP out of Guardian last round. Crazy to think. But this is a round that we really cannot afford to see Tempo throw away into any capacity. Losing weapons at this point is a huge error, and so you can see that passive side of them. No armor present for NaVi, it is just those pistols.
This will just be try and plant the bomb in any sort of circumstance. Yeah. They've got 3 smokes here. I would assume you want to go towards B here, smoke off towards like the upper platform, towards spawn, and then try and get some flashes over and just try and plant the bomb. You could even just smoke on the side and try and plant it within it, right? So That's what I assume they'll be going for here, but it's looking like they may be favoring towards the bathroom area. It's going to be Edward with the bomb as well. This area has been difficult for them. They're consistently losing that first frag, and it was actually the Deagle that took that Guardian last time. It's not something I used to saying, to be honest, but there we go. Here it comes, an AXQ coming in from NaVi. It's going to be Showtime that takes that first kill onto C's as well.
He paid a heavy price, though, down to 27. Actually, Henny's got a great pre-aim here. He's gonna, oh, he catches him, Flamey. Cut down to 20. Good read from Henny. He's definitely got the number for NaVi, and narrowly flicks off to Guardian. But they do have this potential to pressure down this AWP, though. He feels rather alone and wants to be backing away. Just one face seen, though, and it's going to be trying to finish the job. Couldn't quite connect onto the boys from NaVi, and now here come the smokes, and here comes the pressure. Henny needs to find himself some security and get some support. Bolts is going to be there, and actually just get caught through the smoke. And look at this. Oh, good God, this is going from bad to worse. NaVi have made a huge impact already. The bomb isn't down, though. And that, you said that was their primary mission, the primary objective. Zeus is going to be the one punching in the digits, and I think he's going to get it as well.
That's all they want us to do here, but there's still potential. As I say that, though, Henny stepping up with a huge double kill, and he secures the round there. It looked a bit touch and go for Tempo Storm, but he steps up once again. But NaVi getting the plant down means they get that injection of cash, and they should be okay going into the next round. The loss bonus racking up. It's currently at 4 stages, so they're going to have about 6K average on the team here. I think Guardian definitely will be getting the AWP once more, but I'd like to see them go more towards the B execute here. They've been focusing heavily on the A bomb side. It's those key fundamentals of Counter-Strike, going into these key situations like choke points, like bathrooms and long, and they're actually just losing that first man, like coming out connector consistently. You'd think by now they're probably, okay, maybe we need to flash first or smoke off a certain area before we actually face here, but we'll see how this one goes down. It seems like Henny is in 5th gear right now, and he's looking to change these things up as well. Instead of playing that flower beds area, he's actually pushing all the way up towards long. He's all in, but it's Guardian ready for him. He takes down the first pick, and finally, Guardian getting the better of him.
That's the first time we've seen that as well. We're into round 11, and Guardian, for the first time, does beat out Henny in that 1 versus 1.
Well, at this point, this is where the slow mentality of NaVi comes into fruition. They can actually bleed out the CTs, make them use all their utility here, and this is where it really works. This is when they're absolute best, and they have this man advantage. So, got to be slowly but surely exploring the map here to seeing if there is any reaction from the CT, seeing if anyone wants to be pushing and giving them an opportunity. You can see Bolts off towards short as well. He's just trying to find something here, but it's going to be C's taking down Showtime, and that's it now. It should be a 5-on-3, and the CTs need to make something happen here. Someone needs to make a play and get a kill.
Yeah, and there's plenty of time for NaVi to do it, and it just goes awful for Bolts. He's gone as well. Tempo. He's losing this round by what? Oh, hang on a second, hey. Lucas. He finds kills. He always seems to find them in pairs as well. Another 2 for him. His brother has gone. His brother has made a whole lot of impact already. Can he follow in the footsteps of Henny?
Yeah, I said someone had to step up, and Lucas had a fantastic tournament yesterday, and it's looking like Phelps isn't done here as well. He's got the audacity to be facing towards Edward as well. This kill is going to decide the round, and it's Edward is hungry for, and he drops the bomb as well. What a nightmare situation. We have got Zeus coming in the back, though. He should be able to rectify this mistake as he is making his way towards long. Perfect Molotov. That should be it, but he is caught out of position as well. Just going to be C's remaining now, and it was such a dream round for NaVi. Falling to pieces there, and it's Phelps that gets the last round, and I can't believe how that's come out.
I wrote them out of that round. It was 2 versus 4, and Edward, he's on 2 for 10. That death, however, was the worst, as he not only does he go down, but he loses the bomb. And now we are going to be seeing 6-5. NaVi are going to have to do something. I mean, they have got the AWP in the hands of Guardian again, but Tempo, we said they're based off momentum, and there's no more momentum than winning a 2 versus 4. Henny's done it, now Lucas has done it. Everyone delivering on all fronts here from Tempo. And already damage has been done. That nade finds success again. It's the same too. Flamey and C's down to half without a bullet fired.
Because the thing is, that's such a massive round for NaVi to win there. To lose there, sorry, I have to say. And they're such an emotional team. Losing a 4-on-2 situation like that. Zeus, one of those absolute iron fists of the game, will be going absolutely ham right now on this team. But here we go. They have got a full buy. Maximum loss bonus, of course. But it's 5 rounds in a row for Tempo Storm. And Henny with that AWP once again. He will be towards Bathroom this time. NaVi once again will be being a little bit more up front. He's making his way towards shore, looking for any boost or players to jump over, trying to gain information here.
I mean, with this half health from Flaming Seas, they've been so influential in breaking into these sites. Now they've already paid a heavy price. And with just half health, it's not the first corner you want to be peeking. They almost have to count on Guardian at this point.
This is what we're looking for, more of a B-sided attack as all players committed in. Guardian, definitely a player you want to open up that bomb site, and that's exactly why he takes down Bolts. And now they have full reign of the site. Just Showtime now has to wait for rotations here. Can't commit and be dropped if they want any chance of actually recovering this bomb site.
I feel like an aggressive boost is going to come out. In fact, yeah, Showtime is going to be deciding Lucas is the one for the job. As the bomb does go down, that's going to be putting the pressure now onto Tempo for this retake. And NaVi just can't let it slip away, but look at Lucas and Henny. One each, and all of a sudden the damage has also been done to the rest. Guardian's only got 17 points of health. The nade did do a lot of damage, but so has Edward and Seized, and NaVi do seem to be holding onto this one well. Lucas is going to be trying to hold on to something else, and that's his M4, as he's backing away Molly to signify that he's going to just try and recede with that AWP.
This is it.
But, I mean, that's the first attempt towards speed we've seen in a while from NaVi, and it does find success.
It's more of a contact play as well, right? What I mean by contact play is you just send in very slowly, wait for any sort of initial utility used by the CTs, and you walk in. As soon as you get spotted by the CTs, everyone bursts on the site. This time it's Guardian to open things up, and we'll just see what happens here. Lucas with an AWP should be dropped here, I'd say, but somehow finds that shot into Edward, and he won't be staying alive. Just about Seas finds him. It's a big kill to take. We'll have a look at the money here. And actually, after so many close back and forth clutch situations, Tempo Storm don't really have enough to justify a buy here. So even after, what was it, 5 rounds in a row, Alex, that just gives to show you how close these rounds have been. But so many rounds have showed so much spirit and passion, getting in those clutch situations, 4-on-2, winning consistently somehow. But finding out NaVi are back on the scoreboard. 7 plays 5, and Guardian, the player to open the round up last time, will be back on the AWP here. So reading the situation well, they're going back to that very passive mentality as well. Zeus in towards connector as well, just seeing if there is a stack lying there.
I will remind you as well that Tempo, doesn't matter what weapons they've brought in, have always taken at least 2 frags away from NaVi in every single round here on NaVi's T side. And with just the 1 Kevlar, it is going to be Phelps. He's also got himself a flashbang. We know that a tiny investment to utility can make all the difference, and they do have that.
Wow.
3-2 split for the CTs.
They have committed 3 players towards B here as well. So 5-7s, P250s, flashbangs, and they're just kind of hoping it's a similar play from NaVi here, walking to the B site, and maybe they can surprise them, get the drop on them as they come in, but it's not meant to be this round. It's NaVi actually focusing towards the bathroom area as well. They're leaving the bomb towards middle now while they just kind of feel out that situation. This has been a key problem for them, even against these eco situations, not checking some very common positions right in front of you just there. It was one that actually was the difficult proposition for them. But Zeus now, I'm sure he won't make the same mistake twice. He'll be going up very methodically, and it's looking like maybe an AXQ coming as well. He's setting himself up for a smoke.
I mean, I can only assume Phelps should be jumping for intel here, but he's not. No one is on the CT side looking to catch a glimpse of someone long or anywhere. In fact, if he's looking towards the other side, it does all fall to Henny. They've definitely invested so heavily into this stack on B. And Henny, he's going to make the call very, very quickly, because here come the flashes and here come the Ts. They're going to surge forward. Just the USP. What can you do, Henny? Nothing is the answer to that question. As NaVi, they need to get this bomb down. They need to do it neat and tidy. They cannot afford at this point in time just to concede anything to Tempo.
There's no real window here for Tempo to do anything. When it's smoked out like this, the bomb's planted, but they still have smoke grenades as well to keep you locked out of those key choke points. They're just going to be hoping that someone goes aggressive perhaps and gives them a kill, but you can see Flamey just kind of filling out, getting himself in a strong position there, has to cover from the smoke in his back. And at this point, I don't really see Tempo stopping in every single frag. As I say that though, Seas does drop, he finds a double, but it's Phelps that picks up the AK.
Yeah, that's the aggression you were talking about. You know, that's kind of what Tempo are counting on, and they are going to be gifted that one. Edward is on the prowl though, and Edward really could use a couple of kills, just the 4 for him, and so taking these 2 away would not only pad the stats, but also just take that AK out of the hands of Phelps. Time running low, and NaVi are going to be creating a nice distance from that one. We're not going to be seeing another repeat of yesterday with Snatch,
No.
and that won't be fine.
I don't think we'll ever see that
Oh
again.
my lord.
I think that's a once-in-a-lifetime sort of thing for any game. That was an absolutely nuts situation. But there we go. Phelps does manage to save the AK, and considering the money they still have available, that actually boosts things quite a lot. It actually helps spread the economy around a little bit. You can see it's still not great. Luke is actually with no armor here and no kit. There's actually only 1 kit on the team. That's with Bolts, who just has the Famous. But Henny, the MVP by far for Tempo Storm in this first half, will be getting on that AWP once again. That's the aggressive smoke. Normally suggests he'll be boosting up on the bench, but this time he's changing it up. So what I'm talking about, keeping things dynamic. He has got a player there baited in as well. If he does get spotted, I thought he was going to go more aggressive here, but actually playing quite a tight angle.
That's a lot of information for Henny as well, because we know just how much NaVi have previously invested towards that connector.
Yeah.
Now it's absent, it's quiet, and just as I say that, here comes Zeus. He's going to be full white. That should be a very
There
good
it
man.
is.
He's gone. Henny's aggression is rewarded, and Phelps is there to hold his hand as they guide their way through that mid-control. How much information is that going to be gathering, though? Because C's is keeping 2 players busy on B, while the bomb and the majority of NaVi maneuvers through long.
It's another great opening pick there. It's very clever play. Like you said, they're probably very aware of how Zeus handles that situation. Just walking up very slowly, trying to see whether there is any players lying there, but the perfect timing on the flashbang gets Henny that first pick, and now he'll be interested to see where he can go. Actually makes his way towards short as well, but looking towards long A, it's actually going to be NaVi. They're going to be making their presence known any second.
Oh, how was the call not made? Lucas was spotted out by Flamey, but still Edward falls to him. And the numbers do favor Tempo, but the positioning and that bomb do most definitely favor Natas Vincere. Bomb short, still not gone down because it's in the hands of Guardian, and they feel like, at this point in time, they're just gifting time over. Nice plant from Guardian. Took his time with that one, but Phelps was holding the back, and Cease is going to go down, and now all onto Guardian and Flamey into a round started by Henny. Will he be able to finish it? He has rotated over as well. Phelps is coming from the behind, and Flamey, he's going to be nervous about this. Bolt has already taken this one down. This is over for NaVi, and it will surely be over. There you go, getting me nervous. Flamey hit that shot on the flank, but that will be the defuse. And that will be another round for Tempo. 6 then for the Brazilians. And things are certainly not too shabby for them, coming into this one as the distinct underdogs on a map that really they were already kind of expected to lose. They have managed to scrape things together after a very slow start on CT.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But that round was all about Henny, once again opening it up, but I have to tip my hat towards Phelps there. Just such great awareness. Like, it's not common for a terrorist to actually be doing the backstabbing in this sort of situations. You'd assume all the T's are together, but Phelps is reading C's coming through connector. He's just there, so patient, finds that kill, secures in the round as well. So very good discipline there coming in from Tempo Storm. We enter round number 15. Now we still definitely have enough to buy here. It's actually a very decent buy. Orb, 4 AKs, 5 smokes as well. So surely going to be going back to another AX queue by the looks of things here. But we'll have a look as to what Henny's doing. He's currently towards mid, just spotting out that fountain area. Not going to be fully committing to it, but it's looking like that sniper duel will be continuing as Guardian is edging towards that area as well.
It is the same story for NaVi. Just leaving Seized in that kind of lurk position, the 4 remaining. Just try and work something out, usually off the back of Guardian, and you can see that actually he's changed his mind as well. The entirety of NaVi are not finding anything rewarding towards long, nothing aggressive on party, and keep your eyes locked.
What's interesting as well, Bolts is in that same position, kind of boosted up by the monster tunnel. This is what let him down last time. He kind of slipped down and went for the face, and he got completely mugged for it. So we'll see how he gets away this time. They're looking like a full BXQ coming in from NaVi. Smokes all over the place, and this is time for Bolts to step up. He's going to be baited in by Showtime as well, who's kind of patrolling between short and long. We'll see what he can do here as the smokes do start to rain in.
All eyes on Bolts and Showtime, but they're going to line up, and it's only going to be a trade, 2 for 2. Showtime's made a huge impact in that one. He takes 2 for his life. And then Lucas has all the rest to do. The spray is good. Connects on towards Zeus. The Molly's going to cause a lot of trouble for him. He's so damn low. 6 points of health. He could very well walk towards that shot, safe and sound. Boost continuing. Bomb still not down. 20 seconds, and NaVi are under so much pressure from Tempo, but Guardian, of course, he hits that shot. Takes the head of Phelps clean off. And 18 seconds, that bomb's a problem, and Guardian's still the one holding it. Tempo can really exploit this timer here.
Yeah, this is a big problem for NaVi here, but it's Zeus to rectify the situation, and Guardian to finish things off as well. It's looking bleak at some point, but that boost for Tempo Storm working time and time again. They find a couple of kills, but it's not quite enough. On low HP, Guardian and Zeus prevail and actually win the half 9-6 here. So impressive stuff from NaVi, opening things up, but you have to say, Tempo Storm finally waking up, get 5 in a row, and Henny just doing all sorts of work all over the map as well. He finishes the half on 18 kills. That's a really strong performance from someone we were doubting going into this one. Can he perform on the big stage? And he's just providing for his team time and time again.
Performing under pressure is something that really does separate the good from the great. There's no doubt we're going to be seeing more from Tempo as they continue to grow, as does CS. As here we go, preparing ourselves for our second half. Definitely good signs from Tempo, but also from the boys from NaVi, as they did manage to not only start strong, but eventually finish off those last few rounds, putting them at that 9 mark and just 7 away from that magic 16.
We'll have a look at the buys coming in here. We can see it's going to be quite a tactical execution from Tempo Storm. 3 sets of armor, 2 smoke grenades. This normally dictates you're going towards B. As I mentioned before, you're smoking towards upper, you're smoking towards the bomb site. You're trying to get that bomb down with the flashbangs you have. And they're actually going very aggressive here. Looking like all 5 players commit to this side of the map. And it's going to be 2 players for NaVi actually waiting on the other side. It's Flamey that actually takes the front of the damage as gets headshot, and Showtime finds Edward as well. That opens up the B side completely, and Flamey should be dropped here as well. Lucas finds him, and this should be the round, but C's still fighting here on the side.
Yeah, you said it, it should be the round, but C's may have other plans. No, he's not, because Lucas snatches them away from him. There's another for Showtime. That's going to be 3 in the round for him as he takes the head of Guardian. And Showtime, not only did he get 3 frags, he also tagged up Flamey. He played a huge part, almost the entirety of that round coming in from Showtime. The utility, of course, from Tempo Storm enabling that round to go so smoothly.
So yeah, very simple execution there from Tempo Storm. It's all about hitting those initial shots. NaVi go for the face towards Monster Tunnel, and it's Flamey that gets his head ripped off to kick things off, and then just isolate on the bomb site, getting pincered from both sides. And like you said, Showtime stepping up massively there, and it's a big round to take. We can see NaVi have force-bought into this, but luckily Guardian just on the deagle. No head armor hit for him. Obviously, he wants to go for that AWP in the first gun round, so I don't mind this too much, but
I know you do get anxious when you see NaVi not investing towards that AWP.
It's been a definite problem for them in previous games. So they give Guardian the deagle and head armor as well, and you always have to question yourself why you would do that. Why would you risk it? You have the world's best AWP on your team. Why did you deny him that AWP?
NaVi definitely not going to be making that mistake at this level of competition. Here in the quarterfinals of the Intel Extreme Masters. Season 10, a decade of the Intel Extreme Masters. NaVi no stranger to the IEM stage, and here they battle against a new foe.
Well, so far it's been a very entertaining first half, but second round here at the second, we have got 4 rifles, 4 Tempo Storm, Phelps on that P90, and they're not committed to anything just yet. You can see NaVi getting a little bit anxious now, trying to push off towards short, see if they can get any sort of intel here and maybe coordinate their stack. They're currently sending 4 players towards B, but not getting anything for it. And Tempo Storm just getting control of middle, just staying together. This is the problem for NaVi, just going in one by one into certain situations. But it's looking like Tempo Storm have got a different methodology. Like they go together. It's like the buddy system, we call it, Alex. It's making sure. I always call you Mappin.
Oh my God, you nearly
that would have
called
been a
me
problem.
Sadakist, that's something I'll have to take some time to get over. I'm sure he's got a big smirk on his face right now. But back to the game in hand, because looks like Tempo Storm could be falling into that potential trap that NaVi have. With only 20 seconds left, the bomb does need to go down, and it's far away. Lucas is going to be getting a little bit of hot on his heels, but unfortunately for them, NaVi are miles away, and they're just going to be happily walking that one home. Looks like the process of elimination worked well for Tempo, and NaVi now is sitting there wondering what on earth they're going to be doing with this Kevlar. Most likely just holding fast and having a little party for the remainder of that bomb.
Yeah, this is the thing. After you go for that full spy on the second round, if you just stack a full bomb site and you get nothing for it, it's obviously a huge gamble then. Most teams would have one player present towards the A bomb site just to get that intel, and they can get an earlier rotation. They went for 5 towards B, got nothing for it, and the only real option here going forward is to try and save these upgraded pistols and head armor as well. They're actually challenging as well, which is a decision I'm not sure I'm a massive fan of, and Bolt is going to capitalize there. Takes 2 great headshots with the Galil, and this is a really I assume they're saving.
NaVi just screaming, take my Kevlar, take my weaponry. And they challenge out towards long, and they have nothing to show for it, really. They do take 2 weapons away, but the AKs are going to be preserved. And, I mean, you're not a fan of it. I tell you who is. Tempo. They're loving that. Like, okay, making life difficult for themselves there. NaVi trying to have the element of surprise towards long. All they do is just feed Bolt to double. And Tempo's economy, it's not going to be too brutally touched. Henny's just going to be saving up for their AWP, just the Tech 9 and the Kevlar for him.
So most teams, right, when they get to that T-spawn area, you kind of get into this area right now when Tempo Storm are, and you set up crossfires. Like you just kind of think, if they do come here, we'll get a couple of kills where someone's going to survive and take a weapon.
Like a little bunker.
Exactly, right? And Tempo Storm now, they're up against the full save here of NaVi, but only Henny finding 1 there. That's actually just the Tech 9, so it's not a massive sacrifice, as they do get the intel as well. And it should be a very simple cleanup here, as it's just Siege remaining. Here's in towards the connector area, and maybe Overpass finds a drop on someone here. He's actually sneaked in behind them. He actually has the head armor as well, so
it's all about that double dink with the CZ, and what's going to happen for C's? He was in that mid-range scenario, and Showtime just keeping his buddy safe and sound. Again, low casualties for Tempo Storm, only losing that Tech 9 and Kevlar investment from Henny. And now this is where the dogs do fight. 9-9. Tempo have managed to level things out with a start here on their T side, off the back of a very successful pistol round, and now this is really going to be a truly testing round, and the AWPs are both out.
Yeah, this is a game-defining round right now. Whoever wins this will be in pole position to actually get some momentum going. You can see this is classic NaVi. Guardian going very aggressive here towards middle. We've got Edward towards connector, backed up by Zeus as well, but Guardian just wants to find his first pick and give them something to work with here.
Tempo don't want to give it though, and here comes Henny. He's taken down Guardian, and it's happened again, ladies and gentlemen. Guardian falling, trying to make an impact for NaVi, and it is gone, shattered. And NaVi has to operate at a disadvantage, and it's trying to get pushed further and further. Flamey gets tagged up with that boost. You can see it's just going to be a battle of the walls here through that rather permeable wood.
It's actually kind of interesting that Guardian's been trumped by Henny right now. It's
Twice.
like every situation, he's actually getting the better of him, but Let's see how this one goes down. It's a reaction from NaVi this time. The boost works out for Seas, brings it into a 4-on-4. He actually spotted 2 more players as well. He got the bomb down, so great intel discovered for NaVi there. It was a big move. That was a reaction for them, but Lucas, looking for revenge of his fallen comrade, will be making his way up towards short and trying to find his next pick.
Yeah, and Seas is happy to challenge and greets him with a smile and an M4. Bolts just the one with that Galil, because things are starting to go from bad to worse for Tempo. As another one for Flamey, 2 in very quick succession, and now Showtime was so influential before. Not this time, as Edward does collect just the one. A double for Seized and Flamey, and a very crucial round. You called it game-defining, and NaVi maybe letting a small smile creep out just for a second before they do once again head back to their default ways, slowing things down. And look at this interesting approach from Tempo, because they are going to be coming straight back into this one. And we are going to be seeing a very limited money for Henny. That's just... Oh, okay, I was panicked. I was getting nervous. It's going to be Showtime who takes the hit. He's just with the Tech 9. Yeah, and again, the AWP duel will not be present because Guardian just the M4.
It was a massive round there for NaVi. After losing that first pick, that's his classic Counter-Strike. He needed to force a reaction, find a pick. They did the boost. 4 Cs. He's had a sensational game, actually finding his 23rd frag there, and he gets him back into the round, and it's Flamey that helps him clear things up as well. But like he said, we're going to round number 20 now. It's definitely a difficult situation for Tempo Storm. One player on the Tech 9, but Henny, he has got that AWP, and we keep saying it time and time again. It seems like a continuing narrative here, finding that first pick, but sometimes not able to close out these rounds. The good news for them this time is, though, like he said, Guardian back on towards an M4, so that gives them something to work with here, a little bit more room to breathe.
Yeah, and that's all because of the work of Henny in that previous round. Such an early pick from him, and he's going to try and do it again this time. Boost coming in, Guardian is anticipating it, but he's not got the right weaponry here. He's only going to be able to get the information.
Yeah, he's just kind of jumping up at that APC towards the A-bomb side. He's seeing if he can spot someone, but it's such a dangerous game to play. Top AWPer will be hitting that shot, and Guardian should know. He's one of the players that hits it time and time again, and he's still facing it. Surely not another jump here, as then he closes in on the bomb site.
Flash will delay him. He does make his whereabouts known as if they weren't known already with that shot. Rattling off, and once again the smokes are going to delay them, shave another 15 seconds off of that, what is now a 35-second timer. And they are about to start walking into Zeus's domain, or are they? Because look at this, they're descending. They're about to be actually coming towards C's, the top fragger for NaVi. He's been so influential already, hitting 20, and here comes potential 2, could be 3 from C's. Oh, good God, he can't be stopped. 3, he could find 4, he does! And C's pulls NaVi into the 11th round.
He continues his absolute unstoppable form here. Great positioning from C's, gets himself towards short there, and it's a full rotation. All the players just walking into his crosshair, and it's such a smart play from him. It brings NaVi their 11th round, and you just knew as soon as he got the first one, he was so hungry for more. And that final kill onto Henny, picking up that AK-47, this really does seal the deal for them there. You can see Henny coming with the nose scape, didn't really have many options there, but there it is. NaVi have broken Tempo Storm, and Guardian not done quite yet. He's going to be still facing towards middle and trying to get in that intel.
So big from Seized. He's on 27 kills already, and this should be an easy round for NaVi. Zeus is ensuring it, though. Kill with a nade, finishes off the damage his nade did do with the M4. And the remaining Tempo Storm are surely not long for this world. Zeus, is this really going to happen? Yes, it is. It's going to be all 5 for Zeus as he lines them up, knocks them down. Keeping things nice and tight. Nothing lost for NaVi. A few nades invested, but all good in the hood.
Yeah, this is the thing. Now NaVi have got us into that godlike status. It seems like they're hitting all their shots. They're getting riled up. They've hit 3 rounds in a row. And this time we have got Tempo Storm on the full buy. They haven't got the most utility. Definitely lacking some Molotovs and flashbangs going into this one. But they have got smokes. But we'll see where the Danger Man Guardian will be heading this one. Look how it's just boosted up towards long. And obviously Henny with that AWP. This time focusing towards B. Seeing if anyone will gift him a kill towards that monster tunnel. But so far, so good for them. It's going to be actually quite a lot of aggression. But look towards Flamey. Look at the position he's got himself into. They're actually just taking over this area and denying any terrorist information. If the spam does come through, Flamey takes a shot on the back there, but only does 15 damage.
So Tempo have achieved very little so far in this round. Look at the amount of nades still on the side of NaVi. Tempo have definitely decided they want to slow things down, not let this run away from them. They've already made a strong case for keeping Overpass competitive.
Sure.
But where's this first contact going to come from, Henry?
This is looking like they're trying to split towards B right now. You can see Showtime's holding T-spawn for any flanks or rotations coming in, and they still have the smokes here. They probably do their best bet to do a similar execution we saw from NaVi. Get the smokes on the bomb side, try and get a plant down, and make the frags work in your favor. Time ticking away. We hit the 45-second mark. The bomb's still in towards connector here, and the CT's not really reacting just yet. They're going to be expending the last bits they have just to hold them out for a little bit longer and make things uncomfortable for the T's when they finally make their way in.
It's going to come down to hitting shots, and Bolster's already done it. It's Edward gone. That's the advantage they were searching for. That is that first contact. that Tempo Storm were hungering for, and it cost them a lot of time. Just the 30 seconds remaining, and they still haven't made any progress on towards that site. Looking to slow them down is going to be Flamey and Seized. This partnership already making a lot of impact, but talking of impact, look how low their health bars are, and now they can walk in. It's actually going to be Henny who's challenging out, but Tempo, they're filling up the feed, and so is Seized and Flamey, down to just 2. Now just 1, because Seized is continually lining them up. This could very well be 4. Good God, Seized. We said you can step up, but you're really proving it so. 31 kills. In 22 rounds, the man is on a mission, and that mission is the semi-finals.
Yeah, impeccable style there from Seized. Hits his 31st frag as well. Very impressive stuff. It was just textbook play from NaVi there. Pushing some aggression, getting the T's back towards their spawn area, and just buying so much time there. And just the use of utility, dropping it at the perfect time. You saw how uncomfortable it was for Tempo Storm. No choice but to force their way through a smoke there, and Seized and Flamey capitalize. And it's actually going to give them their 13th round and break the economy of Tempo Storm once again. They've got Tech 9s, P250, some body armor, and the smoke. Again, this will be the objective of trying to get the bomb down in any situation. They're focusing towards the B site. It's going to be that contact play again, and here we go. They make their way into the site now.
Much faster from Tempo, then they realize it is just do or die. Get that bomb down. They feel the 14th coming, and so do NaVi, because they've already picked up 2. Where is Henny with that bomb? The molly slowed him down. They really could use the money, they could use the funds, but I don't think NaVi are going to have any of that nonsense. Henny's going to have that bomb taken away from him, and it is going to be another round for NaVi. And so 14 for them, and I can't help but feel there's 2 rounds that stand out to me, and both of them was Seized behind the wheel. 4 in one round, 4 in the next, and those 2 crucial buys from Tempo snatched away by just 1 man.
He's definitely the unsung hero normally for NaVi. Like, he doesn't normally post these kind of numbers, but he does have the potential to have these huge performances in the massive games as well. 32 kills. Normally it's Guardian we rely on to cap with his team, and he's actually in 4th place right now, 11 kills. He's been very quiet. Looks like he's been rattled by Henny almost. He hasn't had to step up massively. It's Seized that's got everyone in his back right now, getting multiple kills, 3, sometimes 4 each round, looking incredibly strong. But I think this is the perfect time now for Tempo Storm to take that tactical pause and just work out how they can break back into this one. So far, a lot of contact play, forcing situations where they can try and find those picks. And here's the replay of your screen right now from that sensational moment from Seized. And the final couple of frags coming to the screen. But yeah, I like this from Tempo Storm. Use your pause before everything gets out of hand. If NaVi find that...
Gets out of hand? 14-9 isn't out of hand?
Well, I mean... taking it before it gets to map points is
right.
the point I was making.
Okay.
That's obviously a little bit too late this day, but they're not out of it just yet. They have money to go into this round. They have 6K average on each player. But the thing is, when I'm NaVi and I'm in this position, I know that they're taking a pause. They're trying to adapt to what we're doing. They're going to come in with some sort of tactical execution. They're going to try and change things up a little bit. It's been quite default from Tempo Storm so far. Do you know what I'm calling? I'm calling let's go for a really aggressive push here. Let's send 3 players towards long. Let's find that first kill. Let's take the game to them. Right. Anything they've got in their mind right now, let's eradicate that being even an issue for us. I wouldn't be surprised we did see a heavy aggression stance like that.
So that's always an interesting discussion, is not only is it that when you call a tactical timeout a timeout for yourselves, but also your opponent sits there and thinks, right, what are they going to do next?
Exactly. I used to love these moments as an in-game leader.
The
in fact, you can actually start, let's just take the game today. Whatever they're thinking, however they think they're going to adapt to us, but guess what? We're actually doing something completely different.
It's often said that you can call a tactical timeout and then not change anything can find some success.
Well, it's the thing. We see a lot of teams do that, right? It's sometimes just to kind of calm yourselves down and make sure the comms get back on track, and people who are getting a little bit riled up and kind of a little bit either anxious or angry, there's some bickering in the team. It's just time to reset that, think about what's going on, and kind of just reset your mind, essentially. So that's another school of thought there. But let's see how we do approach this round for NaVi. They're going to be sending 2 players towards long here at the start, and it's actually Zeus going a little bit more aggressively. Normally just boost up towards the flower bed. It's looking like Guardian. Yeah, he wants to go for that first pick. He'll be going in pretty aggressive. It was Henny that took him down last time, and we'll see how this one pans out, as Henny's actually going to be facing this area as well. The Titans are going to clash horns again, and it's going to be Guardian actually finding Showtime, and Henny looking for the revenge straight away.
Is that the spanner in the works? The Molotov does ensure Guardian can retreat, or does it? Because Henny goes aggressive. He threw the fire and flames. He pays us a light price for a big kill, and Zeus is going to have to fill in his teammates' footsteps. He now is responsible for long, and the CTs, they went for some aggression. They wanted to put a spanner in the works of Tempo's whatever tactics they did take within that pause, whatever plan was forged. And it does feel very, very familiar. 3 in mid, slowly working towards toilets.
This is the thing. Normally, Counter-Strike, a 4-on-4 does favor the terrorists, but we'll see how the CT's can hold this one off. We have got Edward towards the bathrooms now, players surrounding him. He's just not aware of it. Interesting to see how he approaches this situation. If he was to push now, he would find Phelps, but he's got players to his left. This is all about the timing, and there it is. It works in his favor. He takes down Lucas. Sue's coming in as well. Phelps replies, takes down Edward, but we have the 3-on-2 still going in favor of Nadas Vincere here. Henny making his way to the A-bomb side. Still loads of time to play with, and they've got the utility to lock off these key choke points. But Flamey, aggressive of course, making his way out, finds that first kill, and just Henny to find now. Perfect flashbang from the teammates. He gets the second kill as well, and that's NaVi getting themselves to map points here. 15 plays 9, and Tempo Storm looking down the barrel of losing his first map down.
Yep, it was hotly anticipated to see Tempo have some issues with Overpass. They have shown a lot of glimmers of hope for the following two. Of course, Cobble and Mirage are the remaining in this best of 3. If this round does go the way of NaVi, it's a big if though. Tempo already displaying a whole lot of flair here on the stage in Katowice, Poland. Tempo, this feels the same story again. This time Guardian's not going to greet them at long. They do get a bit more flexibility, and Henny's going to be welcoming that. He does just have the Galil though, no AWP battle today, and Guardian is about to have a whole lot of Brazilians challenging him out. Just the first now. Phelps gone. Could this be a second? It feels a whole lot like it, as they have managed to close that gap, and that's important. He misses the shot, Henny knows it, and he is going to be able to win this one out. It doesn't matter what weapon. Guardian has trouble with Henny, and now a 4v4, and Henny's got the weapon of choice.
That's a really weird decision from Guardian. The fact he gets that first pick, and he's alone as well, as no one to kind of refrag with him, and he allows them to actually take the kill and give Henny the AWP, the person that's actually been dominating NaVi here in certain gun rounds, and comes under the 4-on-4, and he's boosted their chances. Even though he finds that first kill, I would be falling back in that situation. You know they're weak money, but Bolt's doing work here for Tempo Storm. He does take down C's, and actually the man advantage coming towards Tempo Storm now, and it's Edward trying to reclaim some real estate here. Henny steps up once again, finds the kill. Flamey doing what he can, but it's going to be Henny continuing the rampage here, and just Zeus remains in the 3-on-1.
Zeus did get drawn towards that B site because of Bolts and his luck, but he is back. He's looking to do something quite special. It would be a 1 versus 3. However, Tempo smartly putting 2 and 2 together. They saw Zeus pick up the kill towards that A site and immediately try and round out towards B. He is in upper though in time. He could stop this bomb from going down. Showtime shows a flash of himself, and the molly is available. I'm getting nervous for Showtime. He jumps high into the sky. They are applying pressure, and time is doing it for them as well. 20 seconds. The bomb will go down once that Molotov does expire, and there's a Molotov of their own. Zeus will fall, and Tempo are not out of this one yet.
Zeus doing what he can now. I like the incendiary, but it's just very good positioning from Tempo Storm, making sure they're working together, not rushing it or panicking, and they make sure they stay alive with 2 players as well. The money was getting a little bit of a problem, but for me, that round is about Guardian. When you find that first pick, you're on map point. Why throw away that opportunity? Like, he lost vision as well. He was like, it's common fact that as soon as you take your vision away from that long area, they have the opportunity to hug the wall, make them all the way down. As soon as you fired that second shot, Henny knew, this is my time to get that kill, get the AWP, and he keeps Tempo Storm in this just about. 15 plays 10, but NaVi still a full buy here. This would be a round that would not actually break them. They still have plenty of cash, you know, NaVi, after so many in a row. They got 6 rounds in a row before, so Tempo now need 5 to force overtime.
Yeah, I mean, the odds truly are stacked against them. Tempo, though, are sending a message to the boys from NaVi, and I'm looking at a very aggressively positioned Zeus. Look at him there. He's over at Fountain. Tempo haven't got the intel yet. They are boosting. They are present on Playground. He must have heard some footsteps and must have made that call, because Guardian's still invested there as well. And he's going right behind them. What on earth is this? Yakety Sax needs to start playing. Zeus has walked straight through them, and now Lucas is going to be the first to find something for Tempo. Another for Henny. Now a 3 versus 3. Where are you, Zeus? You've had such a positional advantage and still made nothing happen with it.
NaVi do find those first frags, but they're getting pincered from both angles there. And now it's going to come down to Zeus. He actually steps up massively there. This could be it. It's a 3-on-2. Lucas and Henny remain. 45 seconds on the clock. We'll be smoking towards upper and committing, looking for this first headshot. There's only one player from NaVi waiting for them. That's Flamey. Can he get the first kill? He does. And he secures the second as well. That's the first map going in favor of NaVi. Very strong showing on the second half. We knew this map heavily favored going into them, but you have to say Tempo Storm presented a convincing case here for themselves, especially Henny, finding the first frag time and time again, actually besting Guardian in a lot of situations there and keeping the dream alive. But it's NaVi that do take the first map here, Alex.
Yes, indeed. They start as they mean to go on. NaVi, just 1 map win away. It would be Cobble, a map that we have seen. Great stuff just around from Tempo. We saw them pick up an incredible T-side victory against Virtus Pro just yesterday. And that's going to be the battleground for them to play the game of survival. But what a start here for Natus Finsteer. They managed to stabilize so many consistent rounds back to back. It was 6 on the CT side. It felt the same on the T side. And this is the start of what's going to be an incredible day of CS. I'm already feeling that kind of that vibe of just good games back to back. We've got 4 best of 3s to deliver today.
Absolutely. It's only going to get better from here. So Tempo Storm now need 2 in a row to actually stay alive. We're going to Cobble next, but got to give a shout out to C's in that situation. He picks up, what, 32 frags in the end? An absolute phenomenal performance. The guy's mentioned on the desk before whether he could actually live up to the kind of title here. And this sort of stage, look at where we are right now. This is absolutely phenomenal arena, and he delivered. He was actually Guardian that was very quiet for their team. He actually only finished on like 13 kills or something. You expect him, especially on Overpass, that's one of his key maps. And he's one of the players that's actually maybe making some questionable decisions, giving his frag away when at times he just didn't really have to.
I mean, we learned an awful lot from that one game. We've learned that Seas just really does not care about the pressure, does not care about that stage. He's just here to pull his team into the victory. 30 for him, and great stuff from Henny, thriving under the pressure. But to break it down further, it is going to be back over to the desk to discuss map 1.
Thank you so much, Machine and Henry. A great game indeed. I think we were all kind of in agreement that Overpass was never going to be favorable for Tempo Storm, but they did have some decent rounds. I think Henny and Lucas, twins showing up on the day, but Seized, man, that guy was nuts the entire game.
Definitely. I mean, Seized having an amazing game. Guardian, not so much, not even playing to his usual level, kind of underperformed there. But I think it was obvious that, Overpass is not a good map for Tempo Storm. And you could see on the city side, it's a bit easier, right? Because you can rely mostly on your individual players. Henny had a couple of great rounds, great shots, and so on. But once they switched, you could see they were clearly struggling.
Yeah, I thought it was, they struggled on it, but you could see kind of the idea. They wanted to try and steal that Overpass, taking Train away. They didn't want to have to worry about that map. So, yeah, it was just kind of an interesting situation where Henny was just huge on the CT side. You could see, too, they started off very slowly in that. You could see it almost looked like what we talked about, the pressure of the stage, of this environment kind of got to them a little bit. They got down to like 0-6 or 7 before they put a round on the board. And then they kind of got used to it, and they started working themselves back into the game, but it just wasn't enough out of them, and Navi's just too deep. Yeah,
and speaking of slow starts, it was the slow rounds that they came in with on Tempo's T side. They were running that clock pretty far down, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it works. NaVi is, the master of it on certain areas and certain fields, but they just didn't seem to be able to understand or deal with then who's waiting to catch him. If they go for a rotate in those last couple of seconds, how many times was Seized there? He caught them when they went out of connector, trying to hit the other side, 4 kills right away, and he didn't do this just once. His positioning was sublime, and instantly understood the weak points that if Tempo came down to that, we're not going to.
I mean, this is around here. This is kind of highlighting point for the map control being the issue, and I want to talk about that a little more, but Yanko, I mean, that's just anchoring down the entire B site.
But that's the problem right there, that's an issue when you say that why teams aren't good on the map. They don't have maybe the same understanding of the map, how it works itself, that you can't go for a fake like that if you have no map control on that side, right? Because this is exactly what can happen. There are so many angles, so many spots you need to look out for. Seized was in an ideal position, as you pointed out, off camera. Also had a bit luck with his timing, that he was looking the right way. I mean, with a great individual play, just shuts Tempo Storm down by himself.
And again, back to the map control in specific, because not only was Seized able to push up in that round, but if you look at the Tempo Storm side of things, and I mean, you touched on waiting late execution and getting caught off. Their CT side was also very passive. They were rarely winning that early exchange out toward the bathrooms, which kind of dictated the early 6 rounds in specific. Once they did go a little more passive, they actually found more success.
I'm not necessarily jumping on board with that. The first couple of rounds, sure, they were shaky. The pistol round didn't go their way. Of course, it kind of spirals. The first couple of gun rounds, as soon as Henny got that up, he was winning so many of those openers, not necessarily just against Guardian, but it was certainly a featured matchup. He then gifted the rest, suddenly start kind of going, okay, well, we actually can do this, guys. All right, fantastic. NaVi then kind of fell back to some of their more kind of choreographed pieces. You saw the kind of wall of smokes coming out to the site and such, which were absolutely wonderful to see. And, sort of plays like this from Henny, he was operating on a level that was phenomenal. It was something that you don't often see, but he was allowed the room to operate to that sort of degree.
I mean, NaVi also got complacent for a while there. They had a 5v2 round they actually lost, which was, 5v2 quickly turned into a 3v2, but from that point on, they also didn't play it correctly at all. Edward was alone with the C4 towards long. He dies, and they struggle to get that back. So fortunately, they win the following round, which forces Tempo Storm to eco, so they do get that 9-6 first half.
This is what we mentioned, too, is NaVi doesn't look excellent so far in this tournament. Even that, we did say that no matter, even with a little bit of an underperformance on their part, individually and as a team, they should still be able to make it past Tempo Storm. But these are issues they need to get fixed out as quick as possible if they're going to go up against Luminosity in the next round. But still one more map to be played, and that's the big thing. If Henny can come alive and carry them through stretches in the next again on Cobble, if he can keep outdueling Guardian, the question is Seized going to step up again, or is it going to be someone different?
Well, that's the thing. Seized was the big guy, but I think you touched on a really good point. We talked about that Guardian battle, and I think Alex said it while casting as well. It wasn't until round 11 that Guardian actually was sort of able to control that AWP versus AWP. So Henny was a massive factor. It's Cobblestone we'll move to next. We will come back to that in a minute, but just general thoughts. I mean, that's a hugely encouraging sign of your Tempo Storm. And I know, Lauren, you're a massive fan of the way they play that map in general.
I just think it's the one shot they've got. They showed a good CT side on the first map, but it's not enough to get you the game. It's all good and well, you know, getting there's a couple of good plays, but Cobble, everything needs to fall into the right place. And then again, for Na'Vi, they certainly didn't have all of their tools in the right place for this one, but they still had enough in the tank to pull it through. So yeah, Cobble for me could be close, but then again, it could still be just as one-sided, and Na'Vi could just turn up and Guardian could just steamroll them.
I mean, a small issue for Na'Vi is that on their city side of Cobble, they rely a lot on Guardian to get those kills, you know, when he's defending the B-bomb side, you know, to be on point with his AWP. He wasn't on point so far. Even the first round that Tempo Storm won on their city side, it was Guardian missing 3 shots onto bolts in that 1v1, which is something that's not characteristic for him. So maybe that's a saving grace for Tempo Storm if Guardian continues to underperform. But on the other hand, C is playing so well, he can cause a mess on the T side too, you know, from that drop zone with his rotation, with his lurking. So.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll get into some of that in just a minute. But first, before we do dive into the second matchup, to get into all the analytics side of it, we do have to take a short little pause. And to do that, we go to the man who's the most entertaining in those moments. It's going to be OJ.
That's because of my short pause. That's why, Matthew. Big pause. And I wanted to get a little thought on how the Brazilians are playing. Now, what we could do is I could storm the booth over there. I could storm in and find out how Tempo Storm themselves. Or I could speak to another Brazilian. And that is Fallen of Luminosity, who has just been signing a ton of autographs. You're the most famous man in here, other than VP, of course.
No, I don't think so. Thank you.
Are you enjoying signing the autographs? Because your team and Tempo Storm as well have really been the breakout stars of this tournament so far.
Yeah, it's lovely to be there. I would like to thank everyone who came forward to take pictures and give autographs. It feels amazing. Thank you.
Imagine how many autographs you'll sign when you win this tomorrow.
Yeah, better not imagine yet.
Well, let's talk about Tempo Storm, because this is another Brazilian team. You know them so well because you live across the road from them, don't you?
Yeah, actually, those guys were playing for Games Academy, which is a team I bring out from Brazil. I knew their potential when they were on Brazilian side because they didn't have so many tournaments to play, and I felt that they deserved more, so that's why I bring them to US, and I'm so glad that they're here already, and I think they can show us more.
Well, obviously, Cobble is coming up next. I'll ask your thoughts on how they'll do in that in a second, just to supplement what our experts are talking about. But this is the first time they've been on a big stage, and it is a massive stage. You walk out in front of the lights, in front of 10,000 screaming people. How is that affecting them, do you think, knowing them so well?
Yeah, when it's the first time you play on a stage, sometimes it's difficult, but it's up to the person. Like, if you see Henwan, the sniper from Tempo Storm, I think he played very well this first match. And so he didn't feel the nerves of being on such a great stage. But some players feel a little nervous and start shaking on their first match, but should go fast, like 1 or 2 matches, and they should be ready for the next one.
So if you could get in there and give them some coaching, if you could say anything to them, heading up against NaVi on Cobble, what would you tell them to do?
Well, actually, they did forget about this map. They don't play Overpass too oftenly, and they did some common mistakes for teams that don't play it. Like when they were going B, they didn't have too much time. They should have gone Monster instead of Catwalk, and they tried Catwalk. They had a smoke, so they lost because of it. So they should let it go. They are good Cobblestone players. They should get their confidence back. It's good that Henrique have a good match because now he feels confident to the next one, and I think they can surprise and get these 2 max.
And finally, when I was talking to Peacemaker yesterday, who's the coach of Tempo Storm, we started talking about Samba CS, the ability, if you're Brazilian, you sort of play it with a bit of fire in your body. Is that such a thing?
I don't know, if I think yes.
Should we dance out on this? Because we're about to go to some highlights in just a second. Should we dance out on this?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Just me then. Right, and here's the highlights from the first map. We're back in just a second with the second NaVi versus Tempo Storm. Me on my own.
No, Samba.